Hello, fourth grade. It's Wednesday, the 20th of May, and this is our history time. We're finishing our chapter 12 on moving forward. We've been talking about people's rights and immigrants coming and how they brought life and color and great things to California's culture. We talk about their struggles, and today we're going to talk a little bit about the computer boom that we see in California and whatnot. So we are looking at, we talked about the civil rights movement a little bit. We talked about different like Watts riots and different things that occurred about all the immigrants from Southeast Asia and why they came, refugees and whatnot. And we talked a little bit about the farmers and the migrant workers. And so today we're going to talk a little bit about technology. Okay, so we are on page 284. We're going to read 284 to 287. I have my template out here for my worksheets. I'm going to read the questions to you. Building vocabulary. The invention of the silicon chip made computers faster, smaller, and cheaper. What does silicon mean? We're going to find that out. Number 2, young people use computers to make quote-unquote special effects, such as laser beams in movies. Then we're going to figure out what a laser is. You have A, B, and C. California created the largest system of higher education in the country, and we're going to see what higher education means. So we're going to look at those underlined words and put them in context, and they give us an A, B, or C. They give us 3 choices. We choose the word, the choice that explains what the word means. Essential facts. Choose the best word or phrase to complete the sentence. Write your choice in the blank. Number 1, the blank boom of the 1970s and 80s brought new growth and many jobs to California. The oil boom or the computer boom? Number 2, computer technology helped the movie making, just gave you the answer. Computer technology helped the movie making industry to grow too, or computer technology helped the agriculture industry to grow too. Number 3, California's leaders have long known that the Earth's growth and success the state's growth and success depend on a good system of transportation, or California leaders have long known that the state's growth and success depend on a good system of education. So you're going to choose, we're going to find out which one of those is correct. I'm looking on page 2. Number 1, what is California's Silicon Valley known for? Okay, orange trees, computers, the film industry, or silk cloth. Number 2, what are some of California's exports? That means what we send to other places. F, special effects and computers, silk cloth and cameras, computers, airplanes, oil, farm products and films, schools and home products. Number 3, what are some of California's imports? Cars, silk, fabrics, cameras. Imports meaning things that we get that are brought into our state. Fruits and vegetables, films, cars, and food, universities, and education. Number 4, why does California import some products? It has to because of a law. Importing helps California's education system. The computer industry prevents California from doing other things. California cannot make every product that it needs, so why does California have to import, have to bring in products from other places, states and countries? Number 5, what have California lawmakers done for education? They passed a law that says all high school graduates with good grades can go to college, or they have opened a few good schools, or they have made state universities very costly to attend, meaning very expensive, or they passed a law that allows few people to get a college education. Okay, so we're going to be talking about education. It sounds like technology, computers, imports, exports. So let's get started. Our thinking focus says, in what ways have technology, trade, and education helped California to grow in the last 25 years? Key terms, export and import. And then you see here, there's a picture, and it says a tiny ant holds the even tinier silicon computer chip in its mouth. So it can hold this teeny tiny computer chip in its mouth. And that is just a teeny tiny ant. So let's get started. The first computers were monsters. They were as big as your classroom. My father worked in a computer, in a data processing department of a gel coat company. Gel coats are paints that you put on ships, airplanes, etc. And his the room that he worked in was one big computer. It literally filled the room. Okay, so we've come a long way from that. Now our phones can be computers. But it says, big as your classroom, they were slow and they were expensive. But in 1959, something barely the size of an oatmeal flake changed all that. It was a silicon chip, and it was born in California. The chip is so tiny that the ant in the picture below is actually holding one in its mouth. The chip is the brain of a computer and has millions of pieces of information stored in its memory. It tells the computer how to solve very difficult problems in a flash. The tiny chip may contain the instructions for playing a computer game, for figuring out math problems, or for building a skyscraper. Imagine that little tiny chip. The small personal computer changed the world, but it especially changed California. The birthplace of many of the new computers was an area south of San Francisco called Santa Clara Valley. Fruit trees once spread across the valley, and people called it the Valley of Heavenly Delights. But in the 1970s and 1980s, computer companies replaced mile after mile of plum, apricot, and cherry orchards. Now people call the area Silicon Valley because of the chip that made the valley famous. Okay? So the Santa Clara Valley is now called Silicon Valley. So we had a question about number, well, I don't know that we're quite ready. Okay, we can answer number 1 on page 2. What is California's Silicon Valley known for? Orange trees, computers, the film industry, or silk cloth? Okay, we can answer that one. Now, technology and the trade boom. I'm right here on page 285, right here. It says, computers brought a boom to California industry, just as gold, oil, and aerospace had in the past. People all over the world use computers and computer technology made in Silicon Valley. A moment in time on the next page shows how a scientist uses computer technology. The computer boom brought new growth and many jobs to the state. California teenagers were part of this boom. In the late 1960s, some smart and curious kids began to tinker with computers in their garages and basements. They took computers apart, studied them, and found better ways to build and work with them. Their discoveries helped to make California's computer industry one of the biggest in the world. Computer technology has helped another big California industry, movie making. Once again, it was bright young people who made progress possible. They were interested in using computers to create, quote-unquote, special effects. These are the tricks that make laser beams, spaceships, and creatures from other planets, like E.T., look like real life. Young movie makers have dared to try new ideas. Their courage has led to an exciting new period in filmmaking. So we know, like, all of the special effects on movies like Star Wars with the lasers and whatnot, and the fighters, like the Millennium Falcon and all the different jet fighters they have and stuff like that. All those special effects, the smoke, the different colors, all of that are have to do with this computer technology. So we can answer number 1 and number 2 on essential facts, especially number 2, computer technology helped the agriculture industry to grow too, or the movie making industry to grow too. Think about what we just talked about. And it says here, well, we haven't quite talked about the boom yet. Oh, yes, we have. We can also answer, looking back at page 284, the blank boom, number 1 in essential facts of the 1970s and 1980s brought new growth and many jobs to California. Did we talk about the oil boom or the computer boom? Okay, think about what we're talking about. All right. So I think we know how to answer in building vocabulary number 2. Young people use computers to make quote-unquote special effects such as laser beams in movies. So is a laser beam a device that sends out a very powerful light? Or Is it a device that sends out a very powerful sound, or is it a device that sends out a very powerful odor? Okay. And I think that's what we can answer so far. So now we're at exports and imports on the bottom of page 285. So here we see some pictures of, these are even older computers. These are what you call a desktop computer. It's different than a laptop. You can't really take it with you. And these kids in their school are working at a desktop computer. And so it says computers help runners and children. So here these runners are learning technique. Okay, and these children are probably learning schoolwork on their computer. It also says across time and space during World War II, many of Japan's factories were ruined, but with help from the United States, Japan made a comeback. Now products from Japan like cameras, television, and cars are known for their high quality. And then action, you see the movie, I forget what they call that. The clapper in the movie Action. The clap of a slate means the cameras are rolling and the scene can begin. So we know that computers brought special effects and had a lot to do with the movie making. And now, and this was, this book was made several years ago, so now even more the special effects, they're all done on computers, okay? Your green screen is like a big computer where they put special effects and stuff behind, like Superman or whatever. Pretty amazing. So now we're going to look at exports and imports. Computers and Hollywood films are among California's leading exports. Okay, so if we look on page 2, it says, what are some of California's exports? So we've read here 2 of them are films and computers. So find the one that mentions computers and films in it, and there's more. Okay, computers and films. Find which one that is, and we're going to learn about more exports. These are the products that California sells to other countries. Just as the Indians of the past traded food and goods with neighboring tribes, modern countries trade their products with one another. I'm on page 187. Other California exports include oil, blue jeans, agricultural products, and airplanes. So I see we have, for number 2, what are some of California's exports? We have special effects and computers. Is that all? Or B or G, silk cloth and cameras. Or H, computers, airplanes, oil, farm products, and films, meaning movies. Or J, schools and home products. Okay, those are the exports. So what does the California export, meaning send out to the world? Now, these are imports. But California cannot make every product that the people of the state need. So California buys imports from other countries. These products come from countries along the Pacific Rim. Talked about the Pacific Rim yesterday. Many of the cars, cameras, and silk fabrics that Americans buy are imports, meaning brought to us, brought in from countries such as Japan, Korea, and Taiwan. So our imports, it asks what some of our import products are in number 4. In number 3, what are some of California's imports? Well, we just read cars, cameras, and silk fabrics. So find your answer. So we have A, cars, silk fabrics, and cameras. B, fruits and vegetables. C, films, cars, and food. D, universities and education. So what are some of California's imports? Okay, imports. And it says here, number 4 on page 2, why does California import some products? Well, we just read that California, it says, but California cannot make every product that the people of the state need. Okay, so which answer, I should say, answers that question? I'm at number 4, page 2. Why does California import some products? F, it has to because of a law. Did it say that? G, importing helps California's education system. H, the computer industry prevents California from doing other things. Or J, California cannot make every product that it needs. So think about what we just read there. All right, now we're going to talk about education providing opportunities. I'm at the bottom of page 287. Talented young people have been a part of the growth and success of California's computer and film industry. California leaders have long known the importance of providing the state's young people with a good education. This is why California created the largest system of higher education in the country. This system is made up of 20 universities. Okay, so when it says higher education, that means beyond 12th grade. It's another word for college. Okay, so California's young people, remember they were tinkering with the computer chips and with the special effects. They were taking computers apart and finding ways to improve them and make them more powerful and have them be able to do more things. And so they wanted to provide our young people with a good education. And so they came up with a university system, the California State University system. And we have 20 California State Universities. I went to California State University, Northridge, okay? Before I went to grad school at Pepperdine, I went to California State University, Northridge, okay? People go, my nephew went to California State University, Long Beach, so did Miss Alanis. And there's California State University, Stanislaus, California State University, Fresno. There's just all these different Cal State universities. So there are 20 because Californians wanted their young people to be able to go to college. State leaders have also realized that it is important for everyone to have the chance to go to college. Like I said, new immigrants, minorities, and children from families with little money may not be able to afford the costs of college. So in 1960, state lawmakers passed a new law to help these students. The law said that all high school graduates with good grades can go on to college, whether or not they have the money to pay for it. How do they do that? California's system of higher education is good for the state and the people, as well as for the rest of the country and the world. Education is a very important part of California's growth, progress, and success. Okay, so it says here, this t-shirt, okay, Berkeley, the t-shirt is from the University of California at Berkeley. The school, which opened in 1868, is one of California's first universities. So we have Cal State schools. We also have like University of California, Santa Barbara, University of California, UCLA. Now that I think about it, I'm not sure if they were talking about Cal State or University of California, because a university is different than like a state college. Still great education and whatnot, but there's some differences there. So I'm not sure exactly because Berkeley is a University of California at Berkeley, not a Cal State Berkeley. So if I misspoke on that, forgive me. The point is that we have a lot of colleges. California has a lot of universities for young people to go to because we value that. That's a main point I wanted to make, or that the book's making. Also, people have to pay to go to school, okay? So it's not like you can just say, I want to go to college and go. But we have different kind of loans that people can get. People can borrow money, in other words. I have a student loan. People can get scholarships. You work really hard, you can get a scholarship. That means the university wants you so badly that they want to pay for you to go. You work hard on your grades, and you work hard in athletics, and you do all those things, you can get some scholarship money yourself, if not have your whole education paid for. Okay, so that's important to California also. So on page 2, we can answer question number 5 now. Why have California lawmakers, have California lawmakers done for education? A, they passed a law that says all high school graduates with good grades can go to college. B, they have opened a few good schools. C, they have made state universities very costly to attend. A state university is like a Cal State. There's a, so in that section I just read, it's probably referring to both Cal State schools and University of California schools. C, they have made state universities very costly to attend, meaning a lot of money. Or D, they passed a law that allows few people to get a college education. So think about what we just read about. Only one of those answers makes sense. And then on the front, under essential facts number 3, it says California's leaders have long known that the state's growth and success depend on a good system of transportation or education. Think about what we just talked about. And you can also answer, building vocabulary number 3, California created the largest system of higher education in the country. What is higher education? Schooling for children between the ages of 5 and 18. Are you in higher education right now? Or schooling for students beyond the 12th grade. That means going to college. Or schooling for children under the age of 5. Okay, so what is higher education? All right, so you should be great. Do a good job on this. This is your last set of worksheets for the school year. We're going to do a study guide that I will be emailing to your parents for you to work on tomorrow. Okay, so do a good job.